Check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. That's right. Good afternoon, world. Good afternoon, America. Good afternoon, Asia. Good afternoon, Latin America. Good afternoon, the islands. That's right. Good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Mozart. This is AfroBeats Worldwide Radio. You're on the T Club, and I got somebody special in the building today. She goes by the name of Sayrah Chips. That's right. Sayrah with the red hair. That's right. International. That's right. Local, everything, choreographer, that's right. She does hip-hop, she does Afrobeats, that's right, she teaches dance classes around the world, she's special. I got beautiful people co-hosting with me today. He goes by the name of Anthony Rajiv on sax. Anthony, can I get a little saxy? Absolutely. Just a little something. That's right. She changed her name to Sayrah, but she's BB Love. That's right. International choreographer as well. BB, what's up, mommy? How you feeling?
What's up? What's up?
That's right. Please help your partner. Whitney, what's up, mommy? Whitney's PR. That's right, Whitney. What else you do? You want to speak in the mic, mommy? Yeah. Everybody speaks on TV.
Okay. Well, am I loud enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Whitney. I have a Whitney Talks PR company. It's entertainment. We do brand collaborations, production partnerships, and branding.
That's right. You single?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Whitney's single too. That's right. Dammy's in the building. That's right. What we call it? International boss bitches. Wow. IBB.
I mean, I could feel
International
that.
Tic-Tic.
A nice bitch.
They want you to bring your mic closer. They want to hear you a little bit more.
What do you want to hear from me?
I mean, it's just Alice, just put up the
Hey, Alice. How are you?
Dammy's special. Dammy's in the building too. Anthony's in the building. That's right, from Afro movement. That's right. He's a choreographer. He's a dancer. Are you based in Houston, Anthony?
Yeah, man. I live in Houston. Well, not anymore, but I used to live in Houston.
Welcome to the party. She's a model. She's a business owner. She does my name, and that's right, Joanna. Joanna's in the building. I call her J Boogie. J Boogie, what's up, mommy?
What up? What's the deal?
What's happening?
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Hey, great. I'm here.
Judy Gray, that's right, visionary creator, that's right. District 1, Judy Gray's in the building, that's right. Judy, how you doing, mommy?
I'm doing good.
Bills is in the building, thank you. Obviously, Bills decided to bring Sayrah Chips today, thank you. Bills, are you managing Sayrah Chips right now?
I'm a manager.
Shout out to Bills in the building, that's right. He dropped that new single at Binny Bean, make sure you pick it up.
Fire, what's good, what's good? How's everybody doing today?
Good.
Bills, you better come to O2 tonight, because I'm going to play a Binny Bean.
Better. It's going to be
On repeat.
We moved.
Dry song.
That's right, and if all you dancers come in, we can take over the whole place. Everybody move back.
You mean that's
Soleil's in the building too, that's right. She's an artist, she's a singer, that's right. She goes by the name of Soleil.
Hey,
What's up, everybody? How are you?
Thank you, welcome to the show.
Yes.
So Sayrah's here, that's why. Why don't you do the honors?
Okay. Everybody, grab your cups. Okay, you ready? Pinkies up. Yes. Okay. Do you solemnly swear? To spill the tea. The whole tea.
Yes.
Nothing but the tea. So help you tea. Ski! I do. Yes. Alright, let's go. Let's lit.
Well, Sayrah, welcome to the party. That's right, welcome to the T Club. Welcome to AfroBeats Radio. Shout out to our sponsors, Not Just Okay. That's right, and AfroBeats Radio. BB, I know you got some questions for Sayrah. One dancer to another dancer.
Sayrah Chips. Where to begin? You are
Sarah Pipi.
Sayrah San Antonio. Hey, okay. So you are probably hands down top 10 biggest Afrobeats dancer in the world right now. Period.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I mean, in terms of influence, absolutely. New York's the capital of Afrobeats in America, and it looks like you're the queen. Okay, so tell us a little bit. Like how you got started, how you built this like Afrobeats empire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Honestly, okay, first of all, I'm an immigrant. I came to America for school 2013 to study dance as well. And in that process, Instagram wasn't really like huge like that. Even if it was not for AfroBeats, yeah. Somewhere around my sophomore year of college, I started teaching in Chicago. Honestly, at that point, nobody was teaching AfroBeats. So it was a struggle trying to even explain what it was, or Afro dance was, or trying to get people to come to class and all of that. So you would have times where it's 2 people in class, or sometimes 5, 10. I think my highest was probably like 15 at the time. And that was how it was for about 2 years.
Sold out.
15 sold out.
Her and Mecca are the only ones who can sell out Houston. Bro, Houston is tough.
Oh, Houston's tough.
What you doing?
Try. But yeah, so like the whole process of even starting it when no one was really doing it was a struggle. And at that time I was teaching through a studio, so like you would get checks every month, and my check would come back at the end of the month, and it'll be like $100 for the whole month. I think my lowest check was $15. I literally got $15. And I was like, what? Yo, I never cashed it. I just left it. I was like, what am I supposed to use this for? But yeah, the whole point was I never gave up. I just kept doing it, even if people wouldn't come to class. When there's no one in class, I'll just like vibe and go home, stuff like that. And then I would always invest. Bibi, you remember Kathy being here, having shows and all of that. Sometimes I would use my own money to fly out to go do a show because I believed in that show or whatever I had to do for experience or whatever. And just growing, as the years went by, I went to New York for a show and got to know people, and then taught a class there once being hosted. Obviously, when someone hosts you,
Who
you have
hosted
more
you?
people. Jalen at the time. She has AfroBeats Dance NYC. Yeah. So at that time, she was basically the only one like hosting Afro dancers type things in New York.
Who were the I know I'm cutting you off, but who were were there Afrobeats dancers on the scene in New York at that
time,
moment?
Not really.
Okay.
It was
wow.
It was not
Crazy.
And like I said, anyone that actually did teach anything was going through her, and to be honest, it was very like that's why when she saw like real like actual like Afro dancers, she would like bring them in or whatever. And even at that, you still have to fly yourself in. She'll just host you. So that was like my first ever like New York class, and it like sold out. And I was like, oh wow, this is kind of cool. This is a lot of people. But
Were you nervous about people at the first?
actually no, because I've been doing it for so long by myself. I was just like, okay, I feel like I deserve this. So it's cool. So it's cool. Yeah. The only thing I was nervous about is basically just teaching in a whole new city at the time, and it's like it's in Europe. Oh my god. Like, are they gonna like me? But that was about it. But honestly, I made a decision that as soon as I graduated from college, that I was just gonna go on tour. Mind you, like I didn't know what I was doing. I literally graduated, and like the same week, I was like, okay, bye, and I left Chicago, and I never went back. And that was the first time I had my class in Houston. I think Houston was one of my biggest classes for my first tour. And then I hosted myself in New York, and 2 people showed up. Actually, 1 lady showed up when I hosted myself in New York for the first
What
time.
studio?
Ripley.
Okay.
1 person showed up, my friend EJ and my friend Uche King.
For those of y'all who don't know, Ripley is like really like the big studio where people do Afrobeats in New York.
Yeah.
And Sayrah like packs the house.
No.
So for her to say that she hosted and it was 1 person is like,
No, it's ridiculous. Last year I had a class, I think it was my biggest class, I taught like an organic Afrobeat class that was centered around like fela and like history and all of that. And I had like 90 people in that class, and I was shocked.
wow.
I was like, how is this even a thing right now when I started it was only 1 person
Wow.
that came in New York. So the whole process is basically just being consistent and not giving up, because like it'll happen. And like I started before Instagram became a thing. So it's like I really like there's a chunk of us that really put in work for people to even now like agree that Afrobeats is a thing in America. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Before anyone was teaching, and there was probably like 3-4 of us, and that was it.
Isn't that girl in London? What's the name of that girl in London that teaches?
There's a lot of patience.
She just came out with a new music video.
Is she the one with the
Ezine.
Oh,
Ezine, yeah. But Ezine went on like so British Got Talent or something. That's how-
Her group, CEO dancers.
Yeah. Are you gonna work on your own music?
With this, so it could go both ways. Bills is dancing now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we need to see Sayrah as an artist now.
Yeah, Bill's a good dancer actually.
I think Sayrah has helped him because it's a lot better.
Can't dance.
Yo, most of my friends are dancers, so I'm getting private lessons.
Everybody did private lesson.
Yeah, real private
Yeah, but I don't know if you saw Sarah did like a freestyle in Instagram, like a cover. You should check that out.
I wish you had.
Yeah, it's on her Instagram. She rapped and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. Julie, you got a question?
I do. So, I have no rhythm. Okay, I'm just gonna put that out there. I wish I could dance. I don't know how to dance. You've been dancing your whole life.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So, what advice do you have to give to me as someone who has no rhythm that would love to, learn how to dance? Because I do admire your work.
So this is something I say all the time. Everybody can dance.
I
Literally
don't know about that
everybody
one.
can dance. No, for real. Everybody can dance. It doesn't matter if it's completely on beat or not, but everybody can dance. It's in your body. First, if it's something you really want to do, then private classes is the way to go.
That's true. Julie.
Fine.
I never seen you dance.
Yeah,
I don't dance.
find someone that you like the way they move, and have them go over stuff with you, like private lessons, and slowly, gradually get into it. And then you'll get there. Everyone can dance. It's in there. You just have to
So it could be
practice.
learned.
It could be learned. I have seen people who could not move a stick, and now they're like jumping around.
That's me.
So it's all about like your mindset. If you really want it, you can get it.
That's great. Gabby's got a question.
Some one-on-one lessons.
Sarah, what's your next class?
My next class is, I have one in Orlando on the 4th of April, and then I have one here in Houston on the 9th of April.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where's that?
At Soundbox.
So,
G
I
by
would like to
Afro.
know, before you came to America, what was dance for you like in Nigeria?
Ooh. So in Nigeria, before I came to America, I was doing music videos. I was a little video vixen.
You want to just throw out some names of some of the music videos you worked on? So
Yeah.
But at that time, I had done like an Olamide video. I had done an Etisalat commercial. I had done a Morel video. I had done. I can't. It's so long.
So you're getting
This
the facts,
is like I
huh?
did a Terry G video. I did a lot of videos back then. I did a lot of music videos. And then I did a lot of shows. I think my first big concert was a Two Faces concert. Was
We
it
did
in,
that in America.
no, in Nigeria? And I was like 16 or 15. I wasn't even supposed to be in that show because it was like a 18 plus show. So there's a lot of weird shit. But like I was like, I'm gonna be here, and I'm awesome. So you don't need to know my age.
You encourage others. Like, a lot of people don't believe in themselves. They don't think that as a choreographer or as a dancer, because it's hard. People
Yeah.
don't believe in anything unless the fame is there.
Mhm.
So how would you encourage others to get off their ass and do what they want to do?
Honestly, it's believe in your awesomeness. Honestly, like at the end of the day, life is hard, and there's nothing you do in this world that's gonna be easy. Like, nothing comes easy. So if you feel like you have a talent and you have a place in this world to shine, even when you have the hard times, you need to be able to talk yourself out of it and like keep going. Also surround yourself with cool people. Because sometimes you don't have the you have the will, or you don't have the will to pull yourself out of it. But if you're surrounding yourself with like awesome people who really have your back, they'll pull you out. So yeah,
Great
just believe
advice.
in yourself.
And also to piggyback off of that, like as an artist myself, I know how it is you know, like how to start, you know, in a sense with nothing really, you know, just really trying to get up there, you know. And I can remember when I first started here inside Houston, you know, it was a struggle, you know. But you got to know your worth. I'll say that. You got to know your worth, you know, because now I'm at a point where I charge as much as I want. I tell people how much how much I'm, you know, what I would charge, you know, per se, you know, and basically people pay that because I had to build my name. I had to build my brand. So it's also about self-worth. You got to know your worth. You got to know how much you're worth and what you're willing to settle for, you know, per se. And I think that's such a big thing about being an artist, not settling for anything. You know, if somebody just say, "Oh, this is an opportunity," you gotta decipher what opportunity you want to take and what opportunity is not worth it. You know.
And to jump off of that, so another huge, you know, fantastic dancer, Izzy Odighi, has had, what'd you say?
It's a shout out, Izzy.
Oh yes, she's
Yeah,
another
Izzy,
queen of the game.
When you're in Houston, make sure you pull up on the
Sheesh, please. You know, she went on social media, talked about a major artist, you know, not giving her the credit she was due in a top video. So how do you kind of navigate this like tension between getting exposure, which if you're a dancer or artist, I'm sure you have heard that so many times, and like your worth, getting that recognition, even when it's like a top artist that could maybe blackball you in the industry.
You have to learn how to speak up for yourself. Like, dancers have literally been disrespected from the beginning of time and till today, even in America, even in the commercial industry. Like, we're always disrespected. And honestly, for you to earn your respect, you need to speak up. Half the time, nobody knows what we're going through. So if an artist, no matter how big they are, disrespects you and your work and your time, and you don't speak up, no one's ever gonna know. No one's ever gonna fight for you. Even the artist probably doesn't even realize that they disrespected you.
Wow.
So the point is, you just need to know your worth and speak up for yourself.
Yeah. Got to.
So can you like bring us a little bit into your childhood? Like, where did your love for dancing begin? When did you know like this is what I'm gonna follow?
That's good.
You know?
Honestly, so my dad loved to dance. He loved to watch dance. So I started off as a cultural dancer. My dad, like, the smile on his face when he watches like dance was ridiculous, and I was a daddy's girl. So I would like dance for him, and he'll give me all his money. It was so cool. Like, I would always set up little dance parties for him in the living room, and then like even at a really young age, I was in nursery school. I was supposed to be doing nursery rhymes. I would cry, and they would put me in like a higher class just to do like cultural dance with them. I was the smallest. Like, my thing kept falling off because I didn't have titties to hold. But like, I just loved it, and I knew that like my dad owned schools, so like whenever they would have an event in school, they'll have the cultural dancing going on. So I joined that, and then my elder sister at the point, she used to dance. She used to do like copy Aaliyah and all of this, and I would like copy her because I was like, this is so cool. And I just kept doing that, and I just realized it made me happy. And also, I'm not that good at school. So
It's not your passion.
no, I knew all the lyrics to all the songs, and I knew all the new dance moves. And my mom was like, "If only you put all of this same focus
In your book.
that would be nice."
But then what would have happened?
Right. So that was me at the time, and
I've been a doctor.
Dancing doctor. You doctors dancing.
I really thought I was gonna be somebody working at a lab or something, and then
Thank God.
I grew past that, and then when I went into like higher education, I was just like, I don't know about this.
You can't make any change.
I think the next thing I was about to do was do radio, because I really liked it as well, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll just do radio. And then I realized you could actually study dance. I was like, ha, sad. I was like, Mom. So I was dancing, and my mom was like, okay, you're either going to go to school, because this dancing you're dancing, I'm not going to school, I don't understand it. So I was like, well, I can study dance. She was like, as long as you're going to school, I don't care. I was like,
Shout out to mommy.
shout out to mommy.
Shout out to Mommy Chips.
Mommy Chips she's a real MVP.
So she's proud of you. Like she's so proud.
And Daddy Chips too, for the inspiration.
Shout out to Daddy Chips.
Daddy Chips.
Rest in peace.
Johnny, you got a question for the beautiful princess?
Well, I mean, obviously. So, did you look up to anyone, like, growing up as, you know, becoming a dancer? Did you, like, look up to any artist specific growing up, you know?
At the time, as a kid, honestly, Kathy was huge.
Yeah.
She was literally the only dancer who was like making a career out of it in Nigeria. Like, what's his dance? Like,
And she's a whole engineer.
are you playing? What are you doing? Like, she was the only one doing it and like making a job out of it, and like that's the only person you can say, Mom, look, she's doing it, because no one else at the time. So she was definitely someone I was looking at as a kid. And then just like watching TV, Lauren Gibson was like a huge I wanted to be her so bad. Like, I remember the first time even seeing her, I was pissed on myself. But yeah, Lauren Gibson was someone I looked at as well. And at the time, we used to watch a lot of So You Think You Can Dance. And that was like a big thing as well for me as a kid. So yeah, those are the people as a child in Nigeria that I was looking at the time. Yeah.
What's your aspiration? Like, what do you see yourself in the next 10 years? You know, like, what you know, what your music, I mean, with your dance, with your craft, what are you hoping to accomplish?
Okay,
You know?
well, there's a lot, but the first and like the thing that even like really got me into this in the first place is just being able to be that Kathy figure as well. Basically, be that person that sets the standards and makes it okay for you kids to take dance as a career. Like, I want to be successful enough in this and being able to bring more kids, especially back home in Africa, to it, and being able to like not have to argue with their parents. Like, that's like, oh no, this is a career. They can do it. She succeeded. Like, my kids can do this. They don't need to be forced to be engineers or lawyers or anything. If there's so much talent.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's so much raw talent in Africa and Nigeria. There's so much raw talent, but they are not doing anything with it because their parents won't let them. They're even scared to show their parents. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the main thing I want to do, which is being able to make it normal.
It's like you have to escape to America to get away from your parents.
Basically.
You have to escape it because if you're in Nigeria, like, you're gonna do what they tell you to do.
Exactly. So being able to like be successful enough with it and go home and establish something out there to bring more people in and give their parents that sense of ease that this is okay. Like, they can actually make it dancing.
Yeah.
They're not just like
I
shaking
think,
their butt for no reason.
I think that the Afrobeat movement is a symbolization of like Africans just discovering their creativity.
Pretty much, yeah.
I think that's what it is. It's just like now, you know, we started with the music and now it's gone into dance in a very
I
similar.
don't even know if it's like I don't even know if it's the creativity or like the actual understanding that we're competitive on a like global scale.
I don't think it's. I don't think we're competitive. It's not just
talented.
It's talent. Like, we
just
didn't
gotta
know.
express it. Like,
Like, we just want to be doctors. You know, like everyone's like,
respected for
you gotta
it.
be a doctor, you gotta be a lawyer. And that's like, you're a painter, you're a dancer. And I think like we just didn't express, like, we had it, but like we didn't value it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that the Afrobeat movements allowed us to understand, like, oh, now we're looking at our dancers and it's like, they've taken over.
And we've always been there.
You're getting more respect. Like, that's so good.
I feel like in Nigeria they don't encourage anything that's not like education, like the top like careers in the world. Do you understand? Because like I have a friend, yeah, his dad is a carpenter, like, and he's a bad man. Like, he
Good carpenter.
Do you understand? He's a carpenter for the guys in Afro. So Afro is like the White House in Nigeria. Do you understand? So, but if I went up when I was 5 and told my mom, yo, I want to be, she might daze me.
But only Jesus can be carpenter. Why do you want to take Jesus professional? How dare you?
How dare you?
One thing I can say is I stalked Sayrah for a little while, and
Well,
I
you
love.
trying to get into knickers?
I mean, her nick-
Obviously! Desire! Bill's like quickly then, hey! Hold up! Hold up!
I love the fact that
You still can't say it?
I love the fact that even wow, what was that? Can you please
have to be at last week's episode to understand what's going on right now.
Help us, please.
Abinibi Yato. Stability.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Ability is English. Abinibi YATO. And then the S apostrophe and then ability. So Abinibi Yato. Ability. Boom.
Alright, so why you were trying to get into Sarah's knickers?
because even though, yes, I know like the whole struggle with people talking and all that, she did grow to the point where she don't give a fuck, and that's what I love. Nobody
Love people that
should.
don't give a fuck.
Basically, you shouldn't let people dictate your life for you. So I want to know, aside from Kathy or even with Kathy, because she's like the only person doing production, do you think or would you ever like work with her to make the production grow bigger, as in telling people, forget your parents, you don't have to sign nothing, just come and do this with us. We can help you go this far, do this, do that. I mean, I'm not saying forget your parents,
They
but
want your
like,
butt.
even if your parents say no, I'm telling you, come.
Right,
I'll
right,
even
right,
bring
right.
you, like,
No, definitely. Like, I'm number one advocate for do what you want to do. Do your like. I'm here for being happy, okay?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna be miserable because my mother wants me to. I don't understand. You lived your life. Please let me live my life.
thank you.
So,
Oh!
like, but I'm grateful that I have a mom that's super understanding and has always had my back and stuff. But for real, I will work with Kathy, and if that's the case, or if I have to do it by myself, whatever the case may be, I'm definitely down to like having productions or companies or whatever where like artists, dancers, performing artists, anyone wants to reach out or wants to work and doesn't know how to go about it based on their family is not letting them or whatever, I would definitely be someone to like, okay, this is how you do it. If this is something you really want to do, then follow your heart. They'll come around. Everyone called my mom crazy when she was paying so much money for me to study dance. But now the same aunties and uncles
They're calling you,
are
Abby. Come on, dance on my
posting me and
Wow.
saying
That's
that's
crazy.
my style.
My niece.
That's
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I have an auntie till today. She literally calls me and says, "Sarah, thank you for like disobeying me." When I dyed my hair red, she almost like murdered me. Now she's like, "I'm so glad you stuck to it." Like every decision I've made, and she's like fought me over. Today she keeps telling me like, "I'm so happy you stand your ground every time you want to do something because like where you are right now, I'm super proud of you." Like I cried when she said that to me.
Your truest
Because
self.
it means a lot, yeah.
So like if you like any dancer, anyone, artist, singer, painter, anybody, like if you feel like this is something I want to do and this is how I want to do it and this is how I see it, this is my vision, do it.
Yeah.
If you want to be naked and you want to jump up and down, do it.
Yeah, make sure you come on the T Club too.
Do it, cause like
Just make sure.
after you finish naked in, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Exactly. Somebody will call you now.
Maybe the rest.
Booking.
Will Sarah's hair ever not be red?
Nah.
Ever in life?
Nah.
It will stay red.
Except for when it's gray. Then.
Now when it's red, the color on my head, and it would probably be a wig, is if I have a gig and I'm required to.
Yeah.
Like last year sometime I did a video and we all had to wear like brown wigs. That's fine, it's work. You know what I'm saying? And I got paid good enough, so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm like 95, 100. My hair's gonna be red. The casket like.
Red head.
So I want to go back to
Before you go there, let's take a quick commercial break. Just real quick, 1 minute, right? Pay some bills. Shout out to Not Just Okay. Shout out to AfroBeats Radio. Shout out to Sarah Chips. Shout out to Julie Gray. That's like Whitney from. What's the name of your company?
With talks.
Whitney Talks.
I remember where I seen that now. star on stage.
Let go. Gail's the one who made it low. They're asking why is it low?
That's something that I really want to do because I posted.
So why does it sound low? Where here? No, you just hear it in here. Yeah, it's not in there. Because it's coming out from the speaker in the bottom. That's why. See, they want it louder. Huh? No. I'm turning up, it's not even moving. See? Because it's probably from that.
Let me fix it.
I'm just mad that he took that long.
So like we only took
Hey, look, it's the one from
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to the show. Check 1 2 1 2. That's right. Welcome back to the T Club. That's right. You're tuned in with Sayrah Chips. That's right. International choreographer. She's in the building. BB Lover's in the building. That's right. Whitney's in the building too. That's right. Dammy's in the building.
Hey.
Anthony, Joanna, Julie Gray, Bills, Soleil, and Anthony Rajiv. My name is Heaven Mozart. World's most expensive. Gee. So Sam,
here.
I think you should open up a school.
Yep.
I think you should open up a school. I think you should focus on children.
Yep.
I want to.
I think you should invest in the school.
I need sponsor.
Hello. Sponsored by AfroBeats Radio. Sponsored by Houston
And Julie
Shows.
Gray.
No, I definitely want to. It's definitely like
We do
in
like
the
a Sayrah
vision.
Fest.
It's definitely in the vision. I don't just want to open just a dance school. I want to open a performing arts school.
You know how I see America? I see America as taking layers of just minorities.
Yep.
America, first of all, took the black people in, or took them as slaves and brought them into America. And then the black people started setting up their own things. You know, they set up their own schools. It's not they set up their own culture, now it's like fashion, like all these t-shirts and these jeans, sneakers, all black culture, and it's moved now. Americans now have Africans.
when you think
Right? And we're Africans, we're Nigerians in America. We don't want to eat hamburgers. We want to eat eba.
Yeah.
It's like
You know?
you created the own
So I think, you know, like, I've always followed that. So one big school that I like is Albany. So I don't see why we can't have an Afrobeat version of Albany.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
Everybody wants to teach me how to do that. I don't want to show you. Go
If
out
we all
there.
come together, like we all do our part, we can definitely do that.
Performing arts, like that's amazing. We can definitely make that happen.
Because I see it as being like, you know, Afrobeat's going to evolve. Like right now we're doing the Zanku, but that Zanku might turn into, you know, like a Zanku ballet.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's the goal. Like, for most of the choreographers right now doing Afro dance, we have the same conversations all the time. We have our little groups and everything that we talk, and the idea, the whole reason for we do what we do is we want to take Afro dance to where it's as respected as ballet. Because right now, no one respects Afro dance in the dance world. It's seen as something you just do. Some fun thing I can do with my legs.
Yeah.
Like, it's a party trick.
Yeah, but you know,
right now.
but once we wait for the Caucasians, races, or the Europeans to define like what is cool or not, then we're always going to be behind as black people.
That's why we're pushing and we're doing what we're doing right now. Like, honestly, artists are great, your music is awesome, but in America, honestly, a lot of people wouldn't know about your music if not for us dancers.
Yeah.
Hello.
Period.
That's shots.
But those are fast though. Those are fast though. Because all the classes that she teaches, she's not like dancing to silence.
No.
She's dancing to songs that people, you know, like record. So those are facts.
Yeah. And like recently, I don't know if anyone has been following me, you can see the shift. I've stopped necessarily dancing to the Wizkids and the Davido. Everybody knows Wizkid and Davido. But
You're breaking artist.
Who knows Naira Marley? Like which American knows Naira Marley? Which American knows Lockdown at the point? Like stuff like that, music like that, sounds like that, like the street sounds and other sounds that they're not too familiar with. Everybody knows Afrobeat now. Everybody knows Davido sounds and Wizkid sounds, but they don't know. But they're not the only ones making music. That's not the only sound. And I'm just even still talking about Nigeria. There's so many other sounds in Africa that people don't really know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and every time certain choreographers dance to these songs, some of us make it like blow up, and then you're seeing like people in China dancing to the songs.
Yeah, like Mr. Easy's video.
Yeah. It was like they went around the world. Like different.
Yeah.
They had different dances. They had like Asian dancers. Yeah.
You know what? It's crazy.
That was in Japan.
Afro movement was on that.
Yeah.
You on that video?
Beyonce's work with.
We've done work with Mr. Easy.
He was on Coachella.
Yeah,
What
but
do you
say, tell us about Coachella.
How was that?
Definitely. Man, Coachella was lit.
What was the
You were
vibe?
at Coachella too?
Yeah.
How was that?
I also had the opportunity to choreograph as well.
Yes.
Afro did as well.
How was that?
It was amazing. First of all, I'm gonna tell y'all about this testimony because the year before that year, when Beyonce did hers, I was talking to someone on the phone and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I even see some of my friends dancing on there. That is like, it's cool. Like, and this person said to me, jokingly, but it was real BS, to be honest. It was like, your mates idea, what are you doing? I was like, okay, well, I will be on there next year.
Yeah.
And honestly, I just said it. You know what I'm saying? And the next year came, and then I got the call about choreographing and being on.
When you go to the girls' hands, you select.
No.
Because you know anything that Bill puts his mind to. Ability.
You gotta write it down for me.
I'm gonna write it down.
Write it down. Yes.
But you know what? It's crazy how, Africans in this country we were here from the foundation of this country, right? But we were never accepted. Never accepted. And it's amazing how in this era, the African heritage, like the dance, AfroBeats, and what have you, is starting to become appreciated around the world, in America and around the world. I feel like in this era, things are starting to change, where the African is actually becoming more acceptable and more popular. It's like, if that makes sense, because reality is those dance, that's African inheritance, right? That's African heritage. It's not something that you know what I'm saying, just those tribal dance and what have you. Those things were there from the beginning, And it's cool to see that come to light and people appreciate that now,
I do want to know, Houston needs help, let me just say that.
Help in what?
Afrobeats, period. I'm not saying that there's not people out here doing it, but like for instance, I performed at a Black Festival event, and it was really based on Afro, and I was just confused, like, y'all aren't African, so why is this based on African heritage? And that made me think back about y'all. I see everything in New York and other cities, and they really like have it. The community is there. The community is here, but everybody feels like I have to be famous, I have to be popular, I have to be a professional to come to this dance class. How can you help Houston? Help Houston? How? Like, you need to have a fest, have a tour in Houston for like 2 weeks, whatever the case may be, go to different places in Houston. So how can you help us? Because the people want to see it, but they don't want to come. So, we need help.
Let's go, please.
Pressure!
First,
Jesus, Sarah.
Because Black people really be with the Afros, and it's like,
well, first of all, you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped.
that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, as much as you see that New York has their shit together now, before they didn't.
Yes, I know.
And when everyone started realizing, oh wow, okay, we don't want the watered down version anymore. We want the real thing. That's when it started like coming together. And then when everybody realized that we're stronger together
That makes sense.
was when everything started working. We were all like separated,
Separate,
just
yeah.
doing whatever.
I don't like the
We
weed.
literally,
I don't like the weed. We can't be in the same class.
Yeah.
New York literally became a thing, Afro thing, when we all decided to get together and
And
work
who's the weed?
together.
You.
Me, Mecca Oku, Izzy, EJ, Avio Boys.
They started on
It's
YouTube.
a lot of
views.
There's a lot of us.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us that like used to do things like just on our own for the most. And honestly, the whole movement became a movement when we started like going to each other's classes, collaborating, like deciding we're not taking this amount of money for gigs. Like we'll call each other. This person just called me. They said they're going to pay so. Let's only take this. By the time they call the next person, we're all saying the same price. Like that became a thing. That's when we started growing together. Like when we started calling each other, hey, what do you think about this? Who was your videographer? Let's share. Let's do stuff like that. So like that can happen in Houston as well. It's just like,
They
are you guys
learn
ready?
to work together.
Do you want it?
Everybody's
Like,
competing.
Exactly.
Yes.
We all, do you want to work together? Do you want
People in
to
Houston
go
are
together?
savages.
Yes,
Savage.
Yes,
Savage.
yeah, I mean,
If you're
it's
nice,
so
they'll run you
competitive.
over.
These sheds.
They'll run you over.
Make the same sheds and say this is
I
my
really feel
brand.
like you guys are speaking ill about Houston.
Because it's
That's
bad.
why I feel like
It's bad. He knows it's
Some people
bad.
act like we're coming out of
I
that.
love
There are some
Houston.
people who
Houston is just tough to get support.
Yeah.
Even when you do show,
It
even
is
somebody
rare.
who's huge artists, they
No,
can't
I
even
feel
drive
like-
a crowd.
I feel like when
Like-
like New York now, like you're calling names like there's a certain chick, there's Easy, there's Mecca, there's EJ, there's Foodie,
There's Sayrah.
These are names.
Yeah.
Like these are people that put in the same, almost the same amount of work as you do.
Yeah.
So for that to work, there's no dead weight.
Facts.
You get me?
Yeah.
There are thousands of dancers in New York, but we're picking names.
Yeah.
And we can go on for days. That's what New York has built. Like Houston needs to build that. Like
Yeah.
people need to work harder.
I'm talking about the big names. I'm talking about the names that are recognized in Houston.
I'm
They
working.
gotta work together.
If you're not working on the same level as I'm working and everybody in the room can see it, don't come to me and say you want to work on the song. It's a joke to you. It's real to me. So I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you like, bro, like, nah, bro, I'll call you or whatever. But like I see like kids in TSU and I tell them, I'm like, yo, bro, just can you not record on your phone at your friend's house? Go to the studio.
Yeah. Invest in
Fine.
yourself.
Yes,
Invest
invest in
So when people are
yourself.
saying, oh, who are the artists in Houston and they're calling names, then we can collaborate.
Right.
Until they're calling those names,
We can't.
Establish a name for yourself.
I was just to like piggyback off what you said, man. I feel like, yeah, just what you said, man. Like, there are people that work on the same level as you, and if you're privy to the knowledge of who those people are, if you were going to drop names now about people in Houston who are actually doing that shit, you would mention this person and this person and this person. But the thing is, like, Houston is a big city, one. Two, like, it's not, the movement isn't as, like, if you go to New York and I tell you, yo, link at Ripley, everybody will link
Link
at
at Ripley.
That's what I'm saying.
We're walking, we're taking train, like,
We're riding bicycles.
Yeah.
Get me, bro, like,
We get
get me.
Brooklyn
But,
to,
but in
you know,
Houston,
Harlem,
man, if I
easy.
tell you, yo, link me at Chimney Rock, you tell me, bro, I'm coming from the north side. Do you
Exactly,
understand?
dude.
Someone is telling me, yo, I live in Hoppy. I live in Hoppy, bro. I'm not
I live
gonna
in
make
Pearland. What the fuck is wrong?
Do you understand? Like, traffic is from 4 to 7, bro. You're not gonna make my class. My class starts at 8, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's mad. All these things, it's not. I'm not saying that that's not an excuse. Do you understand? Everybody really does need to get their shit together, but like, work within your circles and the people that you have close to you.
No, it's true,
Do you
bro.
understand?
Conquer
You
your
know,
own world first.
Let's grow in our like.
We don't have too much time. We got
Like
one
that.
minute left. That's why I want to find out what Sarah wants to say to our audience worldwide.
Dang, I want
Who
to
you
ask
crushing
a
on
question.
Who
right
asked you a
now?
question about this lady? Just get that out.
Who you crushing
You
on
she
right
wants to
now?
ask a question now. She changed the name to BB.
Who you crushing on right now?
Yeah. Who you smashing?
Crushing on, not smash
The Lord.
Crushing on.
Smashing you, Kevin?
Smashing the Lord.
Who you crushing? Amen.
Jesus!
Christian.
Another one coming back!
Absolutely.
No guns.
I wanted to ask real quick.
Whitney, can your PR company represent her?
We would love to. What's your question?
Sarah.
I really want to ask this. So I'm somebody who's like, I always, you always say like this. I'm always like, I'm a student of Afro dance. Like I try to learn all the styles that I can get access to, travel to learn these styles. But as a student, I think with Instagram getting so popular, I'm starting to see that a lot of teachers, I don't feel valued by the teacher anymore. So say I'm coming to a class, right?
Yeah.
It feels like the teacher cares more about the video that they'll get than teaching me. So how can I now grow in a space, and I'm just saying this to you as a teacher, and other teachers, like how is the style supposed to grow? So for example, when you did your class, I'm really trying to understand like the movement of Niger street style, because if I'm not getting it from you, it's only on video that I'll get it, I haven't been to Nigeria. So how are we supposed to grow that culture if it's just choreo and I'm not getting the foundations and the basics of it?
So
Like how do you
10 seconds
navigate
left.
that? I just
Really quick, you have to be sure of the person's class you're going to. Obviously, you're not going to know until you go.
Yeah.
Once you go and you find out that that's the kind of teacher it is, you did find another person. You need to. At the end of the day, it's also like your responsibility to go to the right teachers. If I go to a class and I feel like you're not teaching me what I'm doing, I'm not coming back. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to be able to weed out the teachers who are just doing it for Instagram and the people who are actually teaching you something.
Yeah.
And then for yourself as well, whatever you take from that class or whatever you want to research on, you also have to do like self-practice and self-learning and all of that, because at the end of the day, because it's not every day you can go to Nigeria. Right? But there are people who are actually doing the thing that you can try and study from. I know someone in Nigeria right now who is a beast in dance hall. He has never been to Jamaica.
Right, that's true.
That's what I love.
But like all the dance hall teachers, like you see them on his page, like damn, like hyping him up because he fell in love with it.
Who's that?
Maestro.
Come on.
He fell in love with it and he studied it by himself in Nigeria.
Wow.
And he's holding it. Like I watch him and he looks like Pyro
Shout out
and,
to
and
Maestro.
Blaka and all these other
Relevant
people.
man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you feel like this is something you really want to do and you can't really like get in touch with the right teachers, there are people who are doing, you can watch Westside, whatever, and try and study by yourself.
Yeah.
Of course,
Shout out
I guess
to
I'm just
Westside.
putting it out there as like,
No, there are teachers who are like that right now, who just want to do
that's
it for
something that I see. I see it so much, and it's like, just put it on y'all's radars as teachers. You know what I'm saying? Like some of us really want to freaking learn. Goddamn.
We want to learn as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We go to take classes. I take class from her, I take class from Mecca, but I still take class from people that just started teaching last week.
Facts.
You get me? So yeah, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gil said that's all the time we got.
You gotta come back.
Talk
That was
together.
amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Heaven Mozart, this is AfroBeats Radio, this is Worldwide Radio, this is the Teacup. I'm here with Anthony Rajiv, that's right, BB Love now, Sayrah.
Yes, sir.
Whitney's in the building, that's right, Whitney, you're gonna come back.
Of course.
You just say nothing now, we'll get you next time, don't worry. Daphne's in the building, Anthony's in the building, Joanna's in the building, Judy Gray, Bills too. That's right, Soleil, and Sarah Chip. So I want to thank you so much for coming out today, taking time to talk to us. Pull up on Sarah's DM right now, find out about her new class, find out about what she's doing, everything that's going on. You'll be here for the video, right? So Sarah's still in town, she's not leaving. That's why I'm going to close out the show with my main man's song, that's right.
What is it?
I've been a bit of beat.
Sounded like Oscar Powers. Now it's
Oh yeah, give them Wendell.
Wow! Wait, what? A new move? Real move?
But you're going to be like, 2.